Welcome to Politics for Patriots. Here's your host, the eviscerator of progressive nonsense, the executioner of imbecility, and the grim reaper of BS, Eddie Zipper.
Cory Booker, who thinks he is Spartacus but is more of a cross between General Custer and Wile E. Coyote, says impeaching Kavanaugh shouldn't be ruled out.
Good one.
Axios ran a piece called The Next Ugly Fight, Impeachment. Top Democratic operatives are already talking about impeachment of Brett Kavanaugh as a 2020 campaign issue if he gets confirmed to the Supreme Court. Of course, we know that already happened. He was confirmed. The impeachment talk is coming. All right, another quote from the piece. A well-known Democratic strategist says the only question is who calls for it first. A veteran Republican close to Senate leaders and the White House, impeachment of Trump and Kavanaugh will be an animating issue on both sides. According to the Washington Post, Representatives Luis V. Gutierrez and Ted Lieu have already flirted with the possibility of impeachment. Great. That's 2 votes down, only 216 to go. After the left went full-on Chernobyl over the Kavanaugh confirmation, I decided that I was going to compare the Democratic Party to the Titanic. Then, I realized that was a terrible comparison. The Democratic Party is nothing like the Titanic. When the crew of the Titanic saw the iceberg, they panicked and they tried to steer around it. Right? If you remember the movie, and I assure you, basically everything I know about the Titanic is based on that movie. From the time the guy spots the iceberg to the time they hit it, they make every effort to steer around it. The dude who sees it rings a bell, and then he calls up the steering wheel guy. As you can see, I know a lot of boats. He calls up the steering wheel guy, and they try to reverse the engines. And everybody is running around like crazy, spinning wheels super hard like their life depends on it. The music gets all intense. Da, 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 will they hit the iceberg? One guy screams, why isn't the ship turning? Right? It's just chaos. That part of the movie, between the time they see the iceberg and the time they hit the iceberg, is like 2 minutes of total panic among everyone involved. The Democratic Party, which is headed for a metaphorical iceberg, should be panicking, but they are not. They don't have a good crew like the Titanic did. The crew of the Democratic Party sees the iceberg and they go into like total denial. Oh, don't worry, it's just a shadow, full steam ahead. Which is a weird attitude given their recently documented concerns regarding the dangers of ice.
The 21-year-old victim accused Kavanaugh of throwing ice on him, quote, for some unknown reason.
Ice is scary, scary stuff, and the Democrats know it. Abolish ice! All right, so, don't believe anyone who tells you the Democratic Party is like the Titanic, because, in short, the Titanic hit an iceberg by accident. The Democrats, on the other hand, seem to be doing it very much on purpose. They are embracing the leftist base of their party that is composed of 3-year-olds throwing temper tantrums in the store because mommy won't buy them the toy that they want. The rest of us, those of us who understand the issues, how the country works, basic 9th grade civics, we're the mother, standing there mortified like, yeah, we know, we're just going to have to let them cry it out. These hipster protesters clawing at the doors of the Supreme Court. I mean, have you seen the video with the kids? And they're the protesters, and they're just clawing at those big stone doors. Do you really want a temper tantrum to be your contribution to our public discourse? Stalk Ted Cruz. Never let Susan Collins have a moment of peace in public ever again. Get on the Twitter and ask who is going to take one for the team and kill Brett Kavanaugh. Those are all real things that the crazy, wild, insane left has done. All right? And the Democratic Party is going all in on the moronic left. Not every Democrat in this party is not every Democrat in this country is a crazy person. It seems like it if you watch 5 minutes of 24-hour news, or if you read liberal opinion pieces, you think that every Democrat in this country has a mind made of mush, but they don't. There are lots of Democrats that are just normal Americans who happen to have a different point of view than people on the Republican side. There are those people left. You just don't see them on TV or read their opinions in any mainstream newspapers anymore. And the politicians in the Democratic Party, they don't want to play to those people because that's not the resistance that they've gone all in on. Or as Chuck Grassley would say, resistance. La resistance. Mark Penn, a Democrat who served as an advisor and pollster for President Clinton, wrote an absolutely amazing piece in The Hill about this very thing I'm talking about. This poor guy is, like many Democrats in this country, a Democrat who is not in desperate need of a playpen and a pacifier. All right, and in this piece, he is imploring the Democrats to turn the ship around, to move to the middle instead of increasingly to the left. The piece is called Kavanaugh Lesson, Resist the Resistance or Lose, and it is a must-read piece. Google it, find it. You can go to my Twitter at Eddie Zipper, and I've posted it so you can read it there. And this piece just begs the Democrats to please understand that extreme positions and extreme tactics are not a path back to power. They are a path to 20 years of irrelevance. Right? And there's so much, this whole piece is good, which is rare for an opinion piece. Usually they have a few good points or a few good lines. This one, the whole thing is good, but I'm going to read to you a small portion of it. And remember, this guy is a Democrat. He's just not a Looney Tune Democrat. Democrats still have the edge in the midterms for the House, as 90% of the time America chooses divided government. Both President Obama and President Clinton faced first midterm wipeouts, but an upset is now possible if Democrats fail to turn away from the resistance and its extreme tactics. Americans want action on our most pressing problems. They are not going to vote for the party whose message is impeachments and investigations, especially during an economic resurgence. Oh man, this guy, Mark Penn, this guy nailed it. Right now, a pack of lemmings would take one look at the Democratic Party and say, "There but for the grace of God go I." Democrats have all but abandoned policy. They have all but abandoned the issues. They are all about personality now. They are all about impeachments, investigations, and character assassinations. This impeach Kavanaugh movement is ill-advised, to say the least. I mean, talk about being desperate for an issue. This reeks of desperation. Impeach Trump! Impeach Kavanaugh! These are meant to be wedge issues, but by wielding them, the Democrats are taking the chance that their voters don't understand the impeachment process at all. That's what they're hoping for. All right, if we're going to win on this, we have to hope that they don't really know what's in the Constitution and they don't know what this impeachment issue is all about. And there's actually a pretty decent chance of that. As a college political science professor, I can assure you that loads of people in this country who are old enough to vote think that the word impeachment means removal from office. It does not. It is actually really, really easy to impeach an elected official. It doesn't happen that often, but it is really easy. Right? It's easier to impeach an elected official than it is to pass a bill. Simply passing a bill requires a simple majority in the House and a 3/5 majority in the Senate, because the bill can't pass unless you can stop debate. And to stop debate, you need 3/5 of the Senate. That's the procedural filibuster, or the legislative filibuster. To impeach someone, all you need is a simple majority in the House. That is not hard to get. I mean, it would be for the Democrats right now because the House is big majority Republican. But it would not be hard if there's really a blue wave and the Democrats win back the House. Then it would not be hard to impeach somebody. But impeachment is not removal from office. It is simply charging an official with high crimes and misdemeanors. To remove them from office, it requires 2/3 of the Senate. That is 67 senators. So the House can impeach. Big deal. What happens if you get impeached? Then there's a trial in the Senate. That's the part that matters. Good luck finding 67 senators who will remove Kavanaugh from the Supreme Court. I mean, 51 senators just supported his confirmation. You think they're going to turn around and remove him from office? No, you have to get rid of all those senators. They're not going to do it. Such is the brilliance of the framers of our Constitution. They made it impossible for anyone to be convicted in the Senate for partisan nonsense. People are removed from office only when they actually deserve to be removed, thanks to the supermajority standard. Even the radical Republicans couldn't manage to get Andrew Johnson impeached and removed from office. They got him impeached, but they could not remove him from office. So threats of impeachment that are based in partisanship are nothing more than a promise that you will waste a bunch of the person's time and possibly embarrass them. Right? If Democrats say, elect us and we'll impeach Brett Kavanaugh, you should not hear, elect us and we'll remove Brett Kavanaugh from office. Instead, what you should hear is, elect us and we will waste some of Brett Kavanaugh's time and embarrass him a little bit more than we already have. Impeachment as a political weapon is just a ridiculous waste of the country's time. So my interest here is not whether or not the Democrats can succeed in removing Kavanaugh from the bench, because they can't. They couldn't even stop him from being confirmed. They're not removing him from the bench. So you can just forget about that. You can just not even care when you hear Democrats say, oh, we'll impeach Kavanaugh. No, you won't. You're not impeaching Kavanaugh. Just shut up and go away. All right. My interest here is why they need to even go there. The answer is because they've got nothing. They've got nothing else. They have no issues. Trump's approval on jobs in the economy is sky high right now. Over 50% in the Real Clear average of the polls say that they approve of the job Trump is doing on the economy. In the latest Harvard-Harris, 72% think the economy is strong right now. The other 28% are trying to pry open the doors of the Supreme Court. So, 61%, listen to this, 61%, that's a huge majority, 61% of Democrats say the economy is strong right now. That is a huge majority of Democrats. That's just Democrats. I mean, obviously, the numbers are way bigger for Republicans and independents. But 61% of Democrats know that the economy is strong right now and are not willing to lie to a pollster and say that it's not. I'm telling you, there's sensible Democrats out there. I wish they were on TV and in the news and in the Senate and in the House and, mixed up in things more than they are. They're just so few, and they're just silenced by the mainstream media. The mainstream media doesn't want anything to do with the Democrats who are capable of having a discussion. All right, so huge majority of Democrats, 63% of Hillary Clinton voters say the economy is strong. Huge majority of people who voted for Hillary Clinton say that the economy is strong. 77% of college graduates say that the economy is strong. Trump approval on the economy and stimulating jobs is 57% in this poll. So a huge majority approve of the job that Trump is doing on the economy. So, Democrats badly overplayed their hand on Kavanaugh. Really, it's a disaster. Like, their Kavanaugh strategy, disaster. Major Acme rocket. I think everybody pretty much knows that. We've seen the circuit. I'm not going to rehash the entire thing. Nutty protesters, unhinged senators, non-specific, uncorroborated allegations from 36 years ago. They overplayed their hand for a couple weeks straight, and that was bad for them. But that is nothing compared to how they have overplayed their hand on Trump. Oh, boy, the Democratic Party has overplayed their hand on Trump, possibly more than I have ever seen a political party in my lifetime overplay their hand on anything. I mean, the economy is doing great. Does the economy matter when it comes to elections? I can never remember. Hey, James Carville, does the economy matter?
It's the economy, stupid.
Remember James Carville, the raging Cajun? It's the economy, stupid. It's the economy. We all know that's the most important thing, and that is the number one thing that people are going to vote on. It's going to be based on the economy. The Democratic Party destroyed Herbert Hoover, but there was a depression. It was easy to destroy Herbert Hoover because you could go, oh, look, the reason that your blanket is a newspaper now, newspapers were called Hoover blankets. The reason your blanket is a newspaper now is Herbert Hoover. And guess what? That guy's going to go and vote against Herbert Hoover. So the economy matters. Remember James Carville? It's the economy, stupid. All right, so here's the Democrats' huge problem. This is what I was talking about when I said they overplayed their hand badly. Worst overplay in the history of America, probably. It's at least top 5, obviously. So here's what I'm talking about. Democrats now suffer from a severe crisis deficiency. They overpromised. They promised that we would be up to here with crises. Right? That's what they promised us. That it was going to be a mess.
Dogs and cats living together.
Dogs and cats living together. Our pets' heads are falling off. But that's not happening. We're not up to here with crises. Democrats can't run on the economy. Over 4% growth last quarter. They can't run on jobs. The unemployment rate is 3.7%. Last time it was that low, the Age of Aquarius was tearing up the Billboard charts, and everybody had an afro. And you know that movie your grandfather was watching when you showed up to Thanksgiving last year? Okay, last time the unemployment rate was 3.7%, that movie was still in theaters. North Korea is not nuking us. Quite the opposite. And Donald Trump is not using our nuclear arsenal indiscriminately to punish any country that hurts his feelings. We were promised all those things were going to happen. From the moment Trump won the GOP nomination, the Democrats have been trying to create a panic in the country. You know, people don't know this, but part of the reason the Great Depression went on so long was because Democrats were purposely creating pessimism to hurt Hoover. Right? The economy was starting to recover at the end of Hoover's term, and then Franklin Delano Roosevelt came in, and we got 6 years of Roosevelt depression. That's the thing. People don't... Hoover resided over 3 years of the Great Depression. It was starting to have an upturn. Then Franklin Roosevelt came in, and he presided over the Great Depression for 6 years. Oh, and there was a recovery. Yeah, after 9 years of depression, there was a recovery. Okay, I got off track there. I want to get into Hoover and Roosevelt. None of that really, I guess, matters all that much right now. But the point is, from the moment Trump took office, panic. Oh, it's all going to hell. You remember Krugman. Oh, the stock market will crash. Right? Trump will have his finger on the nuclear button. Oh, Trump doesn't know what the nuclear triad is. Trump won't accept the results of the election. You remember Hillary Clinton was astonished. Oh, Trump won't accept the results. That's, of course, the Democrats now. Then Trump won the election, and the panic escalated. Oh, now it's the end of democracy. Oh, Russia hacked the voting machines. Trump colluded with Russia. Kim Jong-un is going to nuke us all. Net neutrality repeal is the end of the internet as we know it. Tax cuts are Armageddon. Okay, it's like Democrats outsourced talking point development to a room full of Hollywood disaster movie writers. The progression, okay, this is basically a sample of what Democratic talking points sound like in the age of Trump. Okay, here it is from beginning to end. This is Democratic talking points in the age of Trump.
This is Armageddon.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
It's what we call a global killer. The end of mankind. Doesn't matter where it hits. Nothing would survive, not even bacteria.
So that is exactly what the Democrats have sounded like to me ever since President Trump won the election. Mass hysteria. All these bad things, all these crises, up to here with crises out the ears. But where are they? Right? One talking point Democrats are especially fond of, you hear the McPundits on MSNBC and CNN use it every day. Donald Trump is destroying our norms. We have all these norms as Americans, and Donald Trump is just destroying them. Norms are very important to Democrats, I guess, except, hold on a second, Democrats actually don't like our norms. Right? Keep an eye on the opinion pieces that come from the left. They aren't about how great our norms are. The left's antipathy toward the Constitution is palpable. I mean, really, you can see why they actually hate Brett Kavanaugh so much. You can see why a conservative majority on the court has sent them spiraling into tantrum mode. Democrats only like the Constitution when it benefits them. That's why they appoint judges who think the Constitution is a living, breathing document that changes with the times. They think the Constitution would be better if it were Wikipedia, because that way any Democrat can change it anytime it does not serve their needs.
Wikipedia is the best thing ever. Anyone in the world can write anything they want about any subject. So you know you are getting the best possible information.
That's what Democrats want. They want Wiki Constitution. Wiki Constitution is the best thing in the world because anybody can change it however they want, so you know you're getting the best possible contract with your government. Their newest talking point is that the Senate is no good. It's just old and busted because states with big populations don't have more senators than states with small populations. It's like, I'm going to take my ball and go home because the framers made the Connecticut Compromise without consulting me. Vox said that it is grotesquely unrepresentative. E.J. Dionne had a piece about it, complaining, oh, the Senate's not representative. Ken Delanian, this guy is a reporter for NBC. A reporter, by the way, not an opinion journalist. Okay, he tweeted, "It may not happen in our lifetimes, but the idea that North Dakota and New York get the same representation in the Senate has to change." These people have no clue how America works. They don't understand federalism. They don't understand the concept of United States. The words United States don't have any meaning to them. It's 50 separate states under one federal government. It is not one big state. They think that the United States is just one big state. They think California, New York, and Illinois should be the boss of everyone because they don't see any borders between the states. They don't see separate state governments. They just think we're one big state. That's not how any of this works. Okay? Population is represented in the House. That's why California has like 53 representatives and Georgia only has 14. And I don't walk around going, oh, it's not fair, it's not fair. I'm going to write an opinion piece that says get rid of the House of Representatives. No, that's fine, that's fair. The states are represented in the Senate. That is also fair. The states are equal there. We wouldn't even have united if we didn't have that Connecticut Compromise to help unite us. So they say the Senate is no good. When Trump got elected, of course, you know, the Electoral College was no good. Remember, leftist think piece after leftist think piece wanted to abolish the Electoral College because it did not yield the desired results. And when Trump started appointing Supreme Court justices, all the liberal opinion pieces were about how Democrats need to pack the Supreme Court. Vox, Jacobin, New Republic, The Outline, all want to pack the court FDR style. Now, the set number 9 is not in the Constitution, so the court packing is an actual possible thing. Not like the other, like, get rid of the Electoral College or get rid of the Senate. You can just laugh at those things because, you know, good luck amending the Constitution. But this is a real one that they could actually do. So, I think that will make a good 28th Amendment. The number of seats on the Supreme Court shall be set to 9. I think that would make a good constitutional amendment. If we don't do it, one of these days, a power-mad party is going to succeed at packing the court. And once those justices are on the court, it's irreversible. Pretty much all you can do is wait them out. And even that is only if you're young enough. So, these leftists who clearly hate the Constitution, or at least parts of it, think they could do better. These are the people who supposedly love and revere more than anything all of those wonderful American norms. Except, of course, the ones set down in the Constitution that are the contract of our government with the people, and accept whichever norms don't benefit them at any given time. The Democratic Party is in total crisis. They have no issues to run on because the Trump administration so far, knock on wood, has been defined by peace and prosperity. They are trying to drum up crises because they promised crises. But they can't fool the American voters especially not the ones old enough to actually remember what real crisis looks like. So if the Democrats aren't careful, it's going to be a red wave in November because they are headed for that iceberg. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes. Please leave a review on iTunes. Also, you can email the show at patriots@eddiezipper.com. That's it for today. I'm out of here.
Our pets' heads are falling off!
You just listened to Politics for Patriots with Eddie Zipper. Email the show at patriots@eddiezipper.com and please subscribe.